Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Putri Veronica from Manajemen 22A. My NPM is 22,411,040. The concept of corporate governance. Corporate governance refers to the system by which companies are directed, controlled, and held accountable. It encompasses the structures, principles, and processes used to manage a company's operations in the interests of all its stakeholders, primarily shareholders, but also employees, customers, suppliers, creditors, regulators, and the broader community. The primary goal of corporate governance is to ensure transparency, accountability, fairness, and integrity in a company's relationships and decision-making processes. At its core, corporate governance defines the relationship between ownership and control. In many modern corporations, ownership is separated from management. Shareholders own the company, but appoint a board of directors to oversee management and ensure that executives act in the shareholders' best interests. This separation creates a potential for conflict, often referred to as the agency problem, where managers may prioritize personal gains over the company's success. Effective corporate governance is essential in mitigating this problem through oversight, incentives, and accountability mechanisms. The board of directors plays a central role in corporate governance. It is responsible for setting strategic direction, hiring and evaluating top executives, overseeing financial reporting, ensuring legal and ethical compliance, and safeguarding stakeholder interests. A well-functioning board should have a diverse composition, with a mix of executive, non-executive, and independent directors who can bring varied expertise, objectivity, and a broader perspective to decision-making. Transparency is another cornerstone of good governance. Companies must disclose accurate, timely, and complete information to stakeholders, particularly shareholders and potential investors. This includes financial statements, risk assessments, executive compensation, and any material events that could affect the company's performance or reputation. Transparent communication reduces information asymmetry and builds trust in the marketplace. Accountability ensures that individuals in positions of power are held responsible for their actions. Executives and directors must be answerable to shareholders and regulators, especially in instances of underperformance, fraud, or unethical conduct. Accountability is enforced through internal controls, external audits, shareholder meetings, and regulatory oversight. Integrity and ethical behavior are integral to sustainable corporate governance. Companies are expected to operate not only within the bounds of the law, but also in accordance with ethical principles. A code of ethics or code of conduct often guides corporate behavior and serves as a benchmark for evaluating the actions of individuals within the organization. Ethical governance goes beyond profit and considers the company's long-term impact on society and the environment. Globally, various frameworks and regulations support and standardize corporate governance practices. For example, the OECD Principles of Corporate Governance provide a benchmark for policymakers and companies worldwide. In the United States, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act (SOX) was introduced to enhance corporate accountability and reduce financial scandals. In the UK, the UK Corporate Governance Code promotes board effectiveness, transparency, and accountability. Other countries have developed similar codes tailored to their economic and legal systems. One key element in corporate governance is shareholder rights. Shareholders should be empowered to influence important company decisions, such as approving mergers, electing board members, and determining executive pay. Companies are expected to facilitate equal treatment of all shareholders, especially minority ones, and protect them from abusive practices by controlling shareholders or management. In addition to shareholders, good corporate governance also takes into account the rights and interests of other stakeholders. This includes recognizing employees as critical assets, respecting customer needs, fostering fair relationships with suppliers, and minimizing environmental impact. The stakeholder theory emphasizes that long-term value is created not just through profits, but by balancing the interests of all who are affected by the company's operations. The emergence of environmental, social, and governance as criteria has broadened the scope of corporate governance to include sustainability and social responsibility. Investors increasingly evaluate companies based on ESG performance, requiring boards and executives to integrate these factors into strategy and reporting. Strong ESG governance is now seen as a sign of resilience, innovation, and long-term growth potential. Risk management is also a critical component of corporate governance. Boards must identify, assess, and mitigate the risks facing the company, ranging from financial and operational to legal and reputational. Establishing a dedicated audit or risk committee, implementing internal controls, and maintaining compliance with laws and regulations are essential practices in reducing vulnerabilities and ensuring organizational stability. Corporate governance is not static. It evolves in response to changes in the business environment, stakeholder expectations, and global challenges. Scandals such as Enron, WorldCom, and Volkswagen have highlighted the devastating consequences of poor governance and led to significant reforms. These cases underscore the importance of a strong governance culture that prioritizes ethics, transparency, and accountability at all levels. Furthermore, in family-owned businesses, state-owned enterprises, and startups, corporate governance takes on unique forms.